Okay, thanks everyone. Welcome to Advanced Resistance Training. A lot to get through this morning. My brief here today is to try and get you up to speed with program design for personal trainers. This lecture was originally about, probably still about programming for hypertrophy. A lot of people when they hear that word hypertrophy think, gee, I don't want to be big as a house and have garden hoses for veins and legs like tree trunks. But if you're a personal trainer, you often are required to write, and you are, most of your programs are hypertrophy-based programs. People want to change their body shape or look a little bit better. That's a hypertrophy training program. Whether they want to end up competing on stage is a separate matter. They come to see you guys to often change aesthetics. The other thing about this presentation today, it's a sexless lecture. What I mean by that is it's not male or female oriented. Everything I talk about in this presentation is equally applicable to both genders. So don't think for a second that it's a guy's lecture or a girl's lecture. It's a lecture for people of individual program design. Okay, we've got some pretty detailed things to get through. What I want to try and cover mostly is to go firstly through a bit of the implications of training design and how to put the program together. We'll talk about muscle physiology. Without boring you to tears on muscle physiology, there's an implication that can be drawn from every bit of physiology that you know. So I'll give you some information. What does that mean in terms of your training programs? I'll pick out and tell you what I think the best exercises are and the ones that probably aren't that good. We'll then go through and talk about how to put the programs together and how we waste a lot of time in our gym programs at the moment. So by the end of today's presentation, you'll hopefully have an idea about how to put these programs together, how to get rid of the things that aren't working and really focus on the things that do work. So that's my plan for today. All right, let's get started. Advanced resistance training. What is hypertrophy anyway? So what is hypertrophy? When I was a young up-and-comer, I thought that hypertrophy was the guy with the biggest muscles took home the trophies. I thought that made a lot of sense. But hypertrophy is actually a Greek word meaning nourishment. So it's actually about nourishment. And as I said, we are writing hypertrophy programs every day because most of our people want to change their aesthetics. They come to a personal trainer for exactly that. That's a hypertrophy training program right there. Doesn't mean they're going to step on stage. They may, but it doesn't mean that. People want to change body shapes. That's hypertrophy training at its best. So as a result, the muscular enlargement that results from a resistance training program is called hypertrophy, which we know about, and is primarily a result of an increase in cross-sectional area of existing muscle fibres. Okay, so basically your muscles increase in cross-sectional area is where it comes from. The mechanism for hypertrophy. Someone says to you, how come I'm getting bigger? What's happening here? How come my muscles are increasing in size? You get a list of things here to go through. Maybe due to one or more of the following changes. It may be an increase in the synthesis of contractile proteins, actin and myosin. Synthesis being production of. So you're getting a greater production of actin and myosin. That leads to, obviously, the second point, an increased total amount of actin and myosin. So we're talking about these now, the protein cross bridges that make up the guts of most muscle contraction theories. If you're right next to those 2 points, 85%. So put those two in a bracket next to them, 85%. Because 85% of the increase in size that people get is from those changes. You get an increase in production of actin and myosin, therefore you get a greater amount of actin and myosin. So why am I getting bigger? Run the tape measure around, that's why you're getting bigger. There's some other things in your list. Increased number of muscle fibres, a thing called hyperplasia. Ever heard of hyperplasia before? Anyone that's done anything on the matrix system? Yeah, matrix talks a lot about hyperplasia. Question, they didn't think it was possible. It's really iffy. The problem is it's hard to really know if you're having hyperplasia. How would you do it scientifically?